members should have an envelope right here. And I look better on AI than in person. I'm gonna frame mine.
Good morning. It is an honor for this philosopher to make one last trip up Mount Olympus to speak with you as Faculty Assembly Chair today. Side note on AI, I could not have made this image 4 years ago. To do so would have taken someone's special talent, special skills, and a lot of hours. But today, having the idea and the ability to communicate is all one needs to create all kinds of interesting things. For my final philosophy lesson, I offer Plato's allegory of the cave from the Republic, a journey from illusion to truth. Plato asks us to imagine prisoners chained inside a cave facing a wall. Behind them burns a fire that casts shadows before them. Those shadows are all they have ever known. So they assume the shadows are reality itself. Occasionally, a cat passes behind them. They hear the meow and see the shadow on the wall, and naturally they conclude the shadow is the cat. Yet they have never seen an actual cat. The real world exists outside the cave, beyond anything they can presently imagine. Suppose one prisoner were suddenly unchained and brought outside for the first time. At first, the sunlight would be blinding, but gradually their eyes would adjust, and they would begin to see the world as it truly is. For the first time, they would encounter the real cat, and not merely its shadow, and they would discover it belongs to Andrea Poole. They might also meet a cute small dog from Wilmington belonging to someone mysteriously known only as Provost. Outside the cave, they would finally recognize how incomplete their earlier perceptions had been, and naturally, they would then feel compelled to return and share this knowledge to those still chained inside. But how would those prisoners still inside the cave respond? They still only see shadows. They have never experienced the outside world themselves. Would they not reject this new knowledge because it contradicts their lived experience? Might they conclude that the returned prisoner had simply gone mad? Plato suggests they might even seek to silence him. Worse still, they might decide that the very act of leaving the cave caused the madness. This is a central paradox of the human condition. Each of us lives partly in truth and partly in shadow. Wisdom begins with recognizing we may not fully know the difference. Each person carries some piece of truth worth sharing and some misconceptions worth surrendering. Progress depends upon remaining open to both. I have experienced this firsthand during the past 4 years. I arrived here with a lifetime of assumptions shaped by faculty life. Many faculty only know the system, the board, and the legislature as shadows on the wall, as incomplete distortions of reality. In this role, I have seen firsthand the work of system office, the board, the legislature, the chancellors, the provost, and in the end, I discovered something surprisingly simple. Most people are sincerely trying to do the best they can with the information and opportunities available to them. So thank you for the free education in how this system truly works. I have seen things I cannot unsee, and I remain forever changed. And I hope that your experience with me has likewise changed perceptions of the faculty. Because the stereotypical caricature of faculty are also mere shadows on the wall. Together, I believe we have made real progress helping one another step outside the cave together. I would also offer an amendment to Plato's case. Human beings have the ability to impose meaning on the truths before them, in this case, the eternal debate of columns versus rows. The same principle applies when evaluating the work of the Faculty Assembly. This slide captures many of the initiatives faculty helped shape over the past 4 years. We do not claim sole ownership of these accomplishments, but faculty had meaningful seats at the table throughout. What mattered most was not any single policy. It was building the relationships and credibility necessary to participate in difficult conversations to find the right solution for North Carolina. Some of those conversations were hard, especially workload and post-tenure review in that first year. But faculty engagement mattered and led to better outcomes. It expanding opportunities for term faculty was especially important to me. Nearly half of our full-time faculty are not tenure track, myself included. Yet, when I began this role, faculty like me were excluded from things like Board of Governors teaching award eligibility, retention funds, and leadership opportunities on some campuses. Because of the people in this room, that has changed. If institutions are to get the best from people, talent must matter more than title. In 1980, a man on television famously asked, "Are you better off than you were 4 years ago?" So I ask today, is the Faculty Assembly better off than it was 4 years ago? In terms of relationships, credibility, access, information, and influence, I believe the answer is unquestionably yes. And we accomplish some of that by following the wisdom on this dog's tag, think positive. Our work has been noticed across the system, and I regularly have heard appreciation from faculty colleagues. At our final meeting this year, I was presented with this image of me as Gandalf, and a plaque with words paraphrased from Gandalf, quote, "He saw such times and decided well what to do with the time that was given him." While I cannot imagine a better compliment for a faculty member than to be compared to one of Tolkien's wizards, I hasten to add that Gandalf accomplished nothing alone. He needed a fellowship, and so did I. Each year, Faculty Assembly elected an executive committee to advise and challenge me. Everyone pictured here has served at least 1 year, and some endured me all 4. Their talents, perspectives, productive disagreements helped guide everything we accomplished. Many of these folks also led the work groups behind the various initiatives shown earlier. I am deeply grateful to all of them. One person, however, deserves special mention. I did not know Toby King before he joined my first executive committee, but over the past 4 years, he has become one of my closest advisors and friends. During that time, Toby led the work group that provided guidance on the Faculty Realignment Incentive Program, FRIP, which has benefited several campuses. He served as vice chair for 2 years, working closely with all of the campus Senate Council chairs. And Toby led the group that brought forth a report to the president on liberal arts' career readiness. This work was featured by the Martin Center and will guide future work of the Faculty Assembly. Toby has also been attending Board of Governors meetings for 3 years, where he has gotten to know you, and I trust you have gotten to know him. He will serve us all well as chair of the Faculty Assembly the next 2 years, building on what we've accomplished. While being depicted as Gandalf is flattering, my journey these past 4 years has felt much more like Bilbo Baggins, because it was an unexpected journey, with an unknown traveler, where everyone had considerable skepticism of the odds of success. But along the way, we outwitted a few trolls, we parlayed with dragons and came away alive, and in the end, like Bilbo, one eventually returns home changed by the journey, awaiting our next adventure. Bilbo famously said, "I don't know half of you half as well as I should like, and I like less than half of you half as well as you deserve." It sounds like an insult, but it's actually a confession of regret. Regret that he did not have enough time to know more people better. Regret that some judgments had been harsher than they should have been. I share both sentiments. My early perceptions of the system and the board were, like shadows in the cave, incomplete and inaccurate. Every person in this room has treated me with kindness, respect, and generosity beyond what I anticipated. But finally, Bilbo leaves out, unsaid, his feelings towards those that he did come to know well and did appreciate deeply, because some gratitude is difficult to express publicly. So instead, I've written each of you a short letter, which was left by your seat at the table, and you feel free to contact me if you'd like a digital copy of some of those contents. All right. Before I head west to Greensboro for my next adventure supporting the excellent work of Chancellor Gilliam at UNCG, your top performer in the metrics, I shall end with a song.
My work here is done.
Happy trails to you until we meet again. This concludes my report and my service. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mack. We have made tremendous progress working together, and I think that's very important. And we look forward to working with Toby from UNC Asheville. So,
Me too.
thank you.
Thank you.
Timely, humorous, memorable. And I remember you once said, or asked, who here knows who said, I think, therefore I am. I was pretty sure it was Yogi Berra. But I'll paraphrase Monsieur Rene Descartes and say to you, Mr. Mackey, that I think because you compelled me to. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.